Hey guys, midweek energy update as we start this month of April 2024, which is sure to be an epic time. This week, we're really getting right into things. We started on Monday, of course, with Mercury stationing retrograde. Wednesday and Thursday this week, we also, each of these days, have some pretty important aspects playing out. We have an exact Neptune-Venus conjunction that is happening in the late degrees of Pisces on Wednesday, accompanied by a Moon-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius. This could be playing out in a couple of different ways. We'll talk about that today. We also then on Thursday have our once yearly Sun North Node conjunction. These are the destined, fated moments in time, things sort of like clicking into place somehow, preparing us to move forward perhaps in some type of radically new direction. And that aspect on Thursday is being accompanied by an Aquarian moon squaring Jupiter and Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So big changes on the way, you guys. We could be picking up on some of that this week. There could be a sense of like anticipation in the air, and we could really just be getting the sense that something is coming. That's sort of the overall vibe generally right now. And we've got a lot of astrology to talk about opening this epic month, like I said, of April 2024. Let's get into it, you guys. Let's talk about the things that we have playing out Wednesday and Thursday this week as we move towards a very active weekend and a very active month of astrology. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me till the end of this report, I have done a collective tarot reading for us today as well. I like to tap the energy field whenever I'm doing these overviews from a couple of different modalities just to get a more holistic, well-rounded overview of what's going on in our energetic field. So we're going to do that at the end as well. We're going to start with the astrology. Of course, we are in some very active times of astrology. We had Mercury station retrograde on the 1st. This first couple days of the month of April is setting us up for some I feel like there's just some big things coming throughout the course of this month. If you guys did watch my April overview, I see honestly like each week this month as its kind of like own experience along the lines of like a traditional story arc, which could be, you know, also described a couple of different ways. It's like this first week we are, you know, stepping into what is going to be the rising action and the rising tension that comes next week, and then the third week. And that's also like, if we were to use sort of like the metaphors of a roller coaster, which is another thing that's kind of coming to my mind in the context of how this month might feel to us. It's like this first week we are like approaching the platform, right? And we're like getting strapped into the ride, preparing for next week, which we're going to be like going up the incline for the first big drop. And then the third week is like, you know, the spirals and the drops and all the crazy. And then come the fourth week, we are wrapping our head sort of around everything that just happened, and we are, you know, things are kind of like calming down a little bit, but we are changed, okay? I feel like in some serious way perhaps once we step off of that ride, and like what we've experienced on that ride I feel like is going to definitely impact, you know, who we are and what we're doing and what choices we're making and like the actions that we're taking and stuff once we get off of that ride, aka once we exit the month of April. So first week, okay, it's like we are aligning with like what's about to come next. Next week is like the rising action. The week after that is like the climax, you know, and then like the miraculous recovery or like whatever happens. And then the week after that, we are just likely to be gaining some greater perspective on the things that have happened, processing some things, maybe gaining like a sense of clarity about what's been going on and where we're going next. Another thing that I want to say before I get into this report talking about the energy specifically about this week is that we have to keep in mind all month essentially until we get to the last few days of this month, we are in Mercury retrograde energy. So, and it's Mercury retrograde in Aries energy as well. Aries is a sign of the self. Aries is ruled by Mars. We've got a lot of Mars activity going on by way of a conjunction to Saturn throughout the course of this month as well. So to me, this reads, sort of in advance as missteps, mistakes. If we're rushing ahead with things, maybe, saying things that we don't really mean. Like, we're really going to want to mind the speed of our reactions to things, and especially like our verbal reactions to things, and our reactions to things that we think that we may be understanding that we may not be seeing exactly correctly over this period of time. Because with an Aries Mercury retrograde going on, this is just can be like, that like hair trigger type responses to things based on a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation, conflict or verbal conflict coming about as a result of misunderstandings or miscommunications and stuff like that. And it can make us just a bit more primed for conflict based on mismanaged or incorrect or incoherent or some type of distortion in our ideas or in our thought processes or in the informational field generally. Also, this is probably not a real good time to buy like a new car or a new boat or any type of like new thing that has like an engine and a motor and takes fuel and stuff like that when we're dealing with the Aries Mercury retrograde energy. And we don't want to be too quick to sign on the dotted line, to make certain types of investments or transactions as well. We've got this energy going on because, again, we may not be, things may just not be what we think they are, what we understood them to be, or what we thought they were. This is just a generalized vibe. And also, in that same regard, we have to realize that a lot of the things that are playing out as we move throughout the course of this month, a lot of the things that are going to be brought to us by these big cosmic events playing out, the solar eclipse new moon that's happening on the 8th, the Jupiter-Uranus alignment that we have going on, these are happening in the context of Mercury retrograde energy. So like a lot of the news, a lot of the information in regards to the big things that do happen this month, there is going to be a distortion in the informational field. Things are not going to be as they truly appear, like rumors and, gossip and stuff like that, false narratives, or just like stories of things that aren't necessarily exactly accurate, spurring people into action that then needs to be, corrected, redone, recalculated, all of the Mercury retrograde type of stuff. So we really kind of want to do our best to cool our jets, as we move through this Mercury retrograde month of April. That is also likely to have just a lot of big events going on, and we don't want to allow ourselves to get motivated into some type of perhaps unthought out or reckless action based on something that we're hearing that we are not even sure necessarily is accurate or true. Things are just likely to be kind of all over the place, and things could get very chaotic, and we just don't want to be allowing ourselves to be persuaded into action unless we're sure that we know what's happening. And that's the thing. It's really Mercury retrograde in Aries. Okay, the fog of war is a vibe that is coming through to me big time this month. And when you think about the concept of fog of war type of energy, that's not when you want to be making major decisions about stuff, because generally there's just no one really knows what's actually happening. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of what we're just dealing with as we move through this month. Now, I will say, when we get to the very last couple days of the month, the last week, we've got a full moon in Scorpio that's probably going to be quite a revealing and very powerful, climactic and transformative, I guess we could say, in terms of the other things that are playing out this month. But when we get there, and then moving in specifically to like the 28th maybe, but the 29th and 30th, we're going to have vibe shift. Venus will move into Taurus. Mars will enter Aries after coming into a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. And this is really going to, destroy perhaps an illusion that we've been operating under and shift our focus and attention to what we're going to do next. We will have an opportunity to really make some, take some effective, decisive action as we get into the month of May, but that vibe shift is really not coming through until the very last couple days of this month. So, if you don't need to be out there, doing a whole bunch of stuff, making a lot of important judgment calls, choices, decisions, purchases, investments, if you can, kind of take a step back and just use April as more of an observation station month, it's going to be beneficial. Another thing that I was saying in the report that I put out the other day is I do feel like the more we can practice like observational or situational awareness and just be a little bit like hyper observant and aware of what's going on around us and what's happening, sort of on a greater collective level and what's going on in the world and stuff like that. I feel like the more awareness that we can carry with us, and on an energetic and spiritual level, of course, as well, through this period of time, I feel like the easier we're going to be able to navigate the things that are happening because, increased awareness allows for an enhanced level, perhaps, of understanding of the things that we're experiencing. And with an enhanced level of awareness and understanding, we have a greater opportunity to be able to react and respond and act appropriately, obviously. So the more that we can just pay attention and like be in the moment and, know what's happening around us at any given moment, I just feel like the better off we're generally. I mean, always, the better off you'll be if you are aware of what's going on in your life and around you. But right now specifically, just because there's likely to be a lot of confusion, a lot of disorientation, like, we're moving into some big events that are likely to unfold and bring with them perhaps a sense of people losing their minds a bit. So that's my little summary of the month ahead. If you want more information on that, the last video I did, I went in depth week by week talking about, where this month is taking us, how it's breaking down, and the story arc that's associated with the way that the energy is playing out. Let's specifically narrow into the energy of today and tomorrow, though. This week, like I said, we are like approaching the platform and we've got some important alignments happening, I feel like, in the context of the greater unfolding cosmic blueprint, which is what we are also always taking into consideration on this channel. We are narrating the shift of the ages. We're talking about how this energy is likely to be affecting us, on a day-to-day basis, but we are keeping in perspective the greater, and greater awareness how over time all this energy is fitting together to actually essentially help us to anchor right now at the time and place and time and space that we are at, this incoming age of Aquarius to our planet as we are approaching these paradigm shifting energies, which is something I talk about pretty regularly on this channel, but I'm not going to go into much depth about today. I'll have to do that another time because we've got a lot of in the moment astrology to talk about. But of course, this month of April is playing a significant role in that regard, and these aspects we have moving into our month of April, introducing us to what is to come, are playing their role in this greater unfolding story as well. And their role, I do perceive this week as really anchoring in some endings and also some beginnings that are about to like launch us forward in this new direction. So the main aspects that we're looking at Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, Wednesday, you know, as I said, we do have an exact Venus-Neptune conjunction that is happening in the sign of Pisces, 28 degrees of Pisces, very end of Pisces. And we also, along with that, have the moon in early Aquarius will be coming into a conjunction with Pluto. So on one hand, you guys, I will say, very, very powerful or transformative, psychic, spiritual, supernatural experiences could somehow be going on at a much greater scale than, you know, in average energy. We're talking about an alignment between Venus and Neptune. This is high octave, like high heart energy in alignment with divine inspiration, divine creative potential, divine beauty. This is a very, very good day for any type of like art or music or any like channeled form of, you know, personal self-expression along the lines of creativity and the Venetian qualities. And then with the moon in Aquarius and the alignment to Pluto and Scorpio, this brings a level of power. There's a very, it's like a very strongly psychic energy for channeling like divine inspiration and divine will in a way that is, you know, quite like a strong manifestation potential could be coming through with this as well. Great, really terrific day for like any type of vision boards or, you know, any manifestation practices generally will take strong hold or strong root in terms of the unconscious mind in this energy, which is of course a very powerful part of the manifestation process. Because of the degree also where this is happening, Venus and Neptune aligning at 28 degrees of the sign of Pisces, which is the Sabian symbol for 29 Pisces, because whenever we are reading symbolism associated with any planetary alignment or a degree that any planet is at, we round up a degree. We read the wave of energy that is coming in, not the wave that is waning out and beginning to dissipate. So we are looking at 29 degrees of Pisces in terms of the Sabian symbol associated with this alignment that is happening at 28 Pisces. And that Sabian symbol is light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism. So, you know, considering also that we have the North Node alignment with the Sun the very next day on Thursday, and so obviously the Sun and the North Node are in conjunction on Wednesday, a tight conjunction on Wednesday as well, there is something important that is likely going to be exposed or broken down to us somehow this week, something that exposes perhaps the multi-dimensional or multifaceted nature of things, maybe breaking things down for us in layers in a way that we haven't seen them before, to be both, you know, breaking things down, you know, I mean, in terms of to help us understand things better, like to help us see each part, but also Pisces energy dissolves things, it erodes things, it like literally breaks things down. So we may be able to see somehow like the layers of something this week. And, you know, as we move through Wednesday and into the energy of Thursday, in a way that is more significant or meaningful or changes things for us somehow, with them happening at that degree, about the light breaking through the moving through the prism, what is it, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism, being able to like see the various parts and pieces of something that we normally see as just like a whole or a singularity, but for whatever reason, maybe gaining some type of additional perspective that helps us to see all the colors of something, okay? Wednesday, as I said, you know, with the Moon-Pluto conjunction, there could also be something that is very like, it could be coming through almost like a gut instinct or like a psychic impression or something involved somehow being at the right place and the right time with the Sun-North Node alignment to have perhaps some type of, you know, spiritual or just like extraordinary supernatural experience with a Moon Pluto and also with a Venus Neptune. I mean, we are talking about, as I said, the heights of this like spiritual connection coming through sort of both like the heart and the soul. So that is definitely one octave that we could be experiencing this energy on Wednesday. Now the other octave, whenever we're dealing in Pisces energy, I always see this energy manifesting according to like two usually very polarized octaves. There is the like heavenly, divinely oriented nature, worldly oriented nature, high heart nature, compassion, empathy, you know, godliness associated with the Pisces element of energy, but then there is also the dream and the illusion and the fog and the mist and the deceit, you know what I mean, and the breakdown and the erosion and all of the other qualities associated with the watery energy of the Pisces archetype. So, you know, whenever we're dealing in Pisces, on one hand, there is potential for a very divinely motivated, spiritually oriented expression of energy, like very, very high level Christ consciousness type of stuff. On the other hand, there is essentially like the opposite of that, and that which hides and that which evades and that which avoids, okay, and that which you know, appears to be something that it's not, something that is, you know, elusive, and it's the dream, it's the slumber, it's the illusion, it's the fantasy, but it's also where we connect back to our higher purpose and our higher selves, and, you know, all that is the collective consciousness. So we've got very strong, you know, manifestation, creative potential in alignment with our higher selves and the Christ consciousness type of energy. On the other hand, we're talking about deceit, trickery, illusion, and also breakdown and erosion and dissolving of things in terms of the Venusian energy as well. Number one, this could have to do with, you know, Venus rules and represents the heart. This could have to do with matters of the heart, or like literally the heart itself. Issues with the heart could be a thing that kind of gain prominence or are being more spoken about this week. Illnesses, weaknesses having to do with the heart in terms of the collective energy or the collective experience. We also, because Neptune breaks things down, it dissolves things, it's, you know, and we're talking about the heart-based energy, like those two things could go together. Number two, Venus represents relationships, partnerships, agreements, commitments. We could be gaining some type of profound insight about maybe where we haven't understood things clearly, maybe where we have been operating in some type of an illusion or something like that. Or it could just be like coming to the end, letting go, releasing its hold on us. We could just be find ourselves like drifting away perhaps from some people or some relationships or some values or some partnerships or some preferences, desires, gaining perhaps some profound insight into like our own nature of what it is that we really want at this point in time. Venus, Neptune together, this can indicate the loss of, or the erosion of, dissolving of feelings of love, value, and desire for certain things. We could really find ourselves coming to the end of a phase of certain types of preferences, certain types of values, desiring certain types of friendships or images, or even what we are attracted to in terms of the type of music we want to listen to, or the type of art that we're drawn to, or, you know, the type of art that we're engaging in or producing ourselves, or, you know, this is with the south node right now also in the sign of Libra, and the full moon that we just had, the lunar eclipse in Libra, this, and then following right behind that, a Venus Neptune conjunction with the moon and Pluto as well. Like this could really be powerful changes of heart going on, powerful, like deeply internalized changes of heart that are accompanying with this, letting go of, surrendering the past ways of relating to our world and to ourselves, basically across the board. Number three, Venus and Neptune together, this could also represent things like falling apart, dissolving, disintegrating, eroding somehow on a financial level, including like deals, investments, partnerships. It's going to be really, really hard to get any type of like solid footing in terms of any type of like negotiation or deal or investment financially during this period of time. Not only, of course, do we have Mercury retrograde, which is not great for that, but we also, with Venus and Neptune, like it's going to be really, really hard to establish any type of like solid, you know, deal, okay, while we're in this energy. Things have a tendency to lose value when we've got a Venus Neptune conjunction, because because Venus is value, Neptune washes things away. Be careful with your material possessions and valuables around water as well. I mean, and technology also with the Mercury retrograde, but Venus and Neptune, this could be loss by water of, you know, our valuables, resources, assets, investments. So just be maybe a little bit extra careful if you are spending time around water, but it is a good time to spend time around water. With Venus and Neptune, this is like a really great time, you know, to be out on the water, to be by the water, good times had with water. That's another way that this will manifest for a lot of people, is just like having a really good time, like out on or by the water somehow. And the last way that this energy might manifest is in terms with the Pluto moon connection going on and the Venus Neptune conjunction going on, maybe like obsessing over, or find ourselves obsessing a bit over fantasies or ideals about other people, about what could be. This is sort of like you know, pipe dream type of energy as well, and maybe like an obsessive or compulsive like urge to achieve that type of outcome. This could also be, you know, very much obsessed over someone or something that we are like idealizing or idolizing, or a fantasy that we have about something as well, with the Venus Neptune situation being driven also by the Moon Pluto situation. So, you know, that's really what I feel like about the energy for Wednesday. Probably weird, you know, maybe intense, bit otherworldly vibe going on. But remember, and this is what we're about to start talking about next, we also do have the Sun North Node alignment happening. That is, you know, these fated moments that we're in. So a lot of the endings, or a lot of the, you know, resolutions, or, you know, even perhaps like what we're losing or what is washing away in this energy, or on the flip side of that, you know, the things that we're being divinely inspired to create in this energy, all of it is part of, you know, collectively this bigger plan that's unfolding, but also personally, you know, what we need to go through to grow to this next place that universe is calling us towards whenever we have a north node that is involved somehow. But it could, you know, there is likely to be some type of like drastic growth that happens quickly and feels a little bit out of control, and maybe happens in a way that we weren't expecting following what we're moving through this week. I will also tell you guys, like, this is the 3rd and the 4th. When we get into the 5th, specifically the 5th through the 11th, this time period is probably going to be a one thing after another, things happening, you know, really quickly, chaos building, tensions definitely building, and there could be kind of like a level of volatility that is associated with what takes off following the energy of the Sun North Node conjunction today. Because, you know, realize I'm saying the 5th through the 11th, you know, right smack dab in the middle of those days is this total solar eclipse that we have coming up in the sign of Aries. It is also our new moon in Aries, and this is one of those big cosmic events that we have playing out this month of April that we're going to talk much more about in real time as we move towards this event. We also, though, have a Mars Saturn conjunction that is happening alongside that, and you know, this eclipse is in the Aries Libra axis of polarities, Mars being the ruler of the sign of Aries coming into the conjunction with Saturn. So it's just likely to be a bit of volatility that is accompanying whatever goes on with this eclipse coming up here. And things are going to, as I said, we are going to go through between the 5th and the 11th, our period of the month where the moon is going to be transiting through all of the planets that are really like wedged in one quadrant of the zodiac right now. So we're going to be, again, like probably one thing after another once we get through the 5th and moving into next week. But Thursday this week, and you know, the pre-energy to that energy does feature our yearly Sun North Node conjunction. And again, like I am seeing this as like the energy, like Wednesday we have the Venus Neptune maybe giving us the vision that we need to move forward somehow, or maybe like helping us to untie like our final tethers to the past version of ourselves. Like either way, it's like we're either receiving some type of spiritual support that is assisting us to move forward, or we're, you know, coming to a place where we're finally ready to move on from some things, perhaps once and for all, so that we can move forward. But no matter which way you slice it, I feel like the Venus Neptune is sort of like the punctuation mark on the end of this Libra lunar eclipse that we just had on the 25th. Those two energies, you know, have a lot in common. And that moon also was about helping us to release essentially like our old paradigm and the way that we related to our experience here in this 3D world, essentially what we are attracted to, what we magnetize to ourselves, what we want to relate to and how we want to relate to it, what we value and what we want to, you know, associate with, like the deeper driving factors of how we connect to others and to the world around us, undergoing some very personalized transformation as a result of the eclipse window that we're in right now as well. You know, and the flip side of that, of course, is this new moon in Aries that is coming up, leadership era, personal leadership era of our lives. That's what I've been calling the transit of the North Node through the sign of Aries, which is emphasized by the sun's conjunction on Thursday, and then again supersized, amplified tremendously by our new moon solar eclipse featuring the nodes. Obviously that's what gives us our eclipse seasons that is happening on the 8th. So we are, you know, preparing to really start moving forward in a new direction. That's just what all the arrows, all the signs are pointing to. And Thursday this week, the sun north node alignment, I feel like this is when sort of things are like clicking into the proper alignment. We're being buckled in, strapped into the ride, like locked and loaded, ready to take off in some radical new direction. But we're definitely like getting on the ride this week. And Thursday is the day that we are either choosing to do that for ourselves, or that life is like pushing us onto that platform so that we can get this ball rolling, which, like I said, is likely to, the momentum is likely to start building, moving into the energy of Friday, actually. And I'll be back with another video on Friday to talk us through our weekend. But alongside the sun north node conjunction, which is our yearly destiny, like activating moment, things that happen, it's just like, it may not be, you know, something huge, but there's just likely to be something that happens on or around Thursday that is, you know, clearly of a more, you know, synchronistic nature, or that just, you know, changes things slightly or radically for us somehow in terms of, you know, what's going to be happening moving forward, or, you know, bring something to our awareness. We're talking about Venus and Neptune as well. So in the light breaking into many colors, this is also, you know, could be showing us the sides of things that we haven't seen before, that alters our viewpoint and perspective and changes things for us moving forward somehow. But with the North Node and the destiny, or the sun and the sign of Aries, it's something that is like helping us to come back into our personal power somehow, that is realigning our personal path, that is reigniting the fire within us, that is giving us a personal mission, that is activating like a personal destiny for us somehow, just something for us personally that is slightly or drastically altering the direction that we are moving going forward, or the way that we are viewing ourselves or our reality somehow, or our mission or our purpose or something like that moving forward as well. Now, going along with that, I find it very synchronistic that the moon will also be in Aquarius in a perfect square to Jupiter and Uranus, who are in a very tight conjunction as we start the month of April. So, you know, what's happening with the sun and the North Node, these like divinely aligned moments coming along with perhaps this internal urge, or like this internal like itch sort of that we have to maybe break free from something, to be more authentic, to do something to make a change somehow in some way and really get the ball rolling in terms of what is coming next. So there's that. And another thing, you know, there could really be a sense of like electricity in the air, sense of anticipation, like nervous tension, anxiety, you know, feeling like something's coming, just this generalized sense of anticipation or anxiety could really be coming in strong, especially as we are moving through the energy of Thursday and towards the weekend. Like I said, there's something big probably that is going to happen in this month somehow, and we're probably starting to pick up on it. So if that is the case, then you may really just be, if you're feeling, you know, just a bit wired or not at ease, you could just be picking up on the general collective energy in terms of the psychic impressions of what we're moving into as we begin this month. So don't get too far ahead of yourself. That's some more advice that I have about the energy this week. It is, as I said, Mercury retrograde in Aries. This is kind of like a season of mistakes to some extent, missteps, just getting a bit ahead of ourselves, being less hyper reactive, more slow to respond to things is going to work in our favor as we move through this period of time, but that will not likely be the urge, okay? We will probably just want to explode and react, and that is not the best approach when we've got this energy going on. We could also really be, especially, you know, coming in Thursday with the Aquarius moon squaring Uranus, who rules Aquarius, and also Jupiter amplifying the Aquarian energy. This is like a very like agitating change inside of us energy, like feeling like, you know, I need to, like, this has to stop, or like, I need to make a change type of energy could really be gripping us very, very strongly in the fated, destined energy associated with what we have going on Thursday. We could also really feel compelled to like launch forward in a new direction, and we don't want to get ahead of ourselves without double checking, make, you know, foolish errors. That's Mercury retrograde in Aries all day, okay? So we are moving forward, but we are better suited moving forward in a slower, more observation-based rate as we head into April, and not just like gung-ho flying forward without a true sense of awareness about, you know, what's really happening. Because again, likely no one's really going to truly know what's actually happening until we get closer to the end of the month. Events are very purposeful now, though, even if they may seem a bit disconcerting or uncomfortable on the surface. We gotta, you guys, Taurus energy, Taurus represents what makes us comfortable, what makes us feel stable and secure. It's this grounding, earth-based energy that has everything. It's a sign of the builder. It has everything to do with like how we use our resources to create abundance and security and beauty that we can then enjoy in our physical world. And when we have a Uranus Jupiter conjunction happening in Taurus, you guys, like, this is a very strong indication to upsetting of comfort zones based in, you know, the resources or the assets or the material, you know, world that it has been a certain way for a certain period of time. Like, something is going to change most likely in regards to just the way that we've related with our own particular foundations and comfort zones, and where we have perhaps, you know, our values derived value and, you know, resources and assets and, you know, financial situations and stuff like that. It's not necessarily like there could be people having massive windfalls, you know, in this energy as well. Like, it's not necessarily all for the worst, but just the way that things are coming together right now at this point in time, we are in revolutionary energy and we are in a shifting paradigm. So there's likely to be a crumbling of some systems that have been in place for long periods of time, and simultaneously an emergence of some very new and unconventional or novel ways of doing things sort of popping up out of nowhere that are going to begin to alter the way that things are going to be done moving forward. I do expect, honestly, like things happening, like the way that energy is coming together this month. I think that it's going to be hitting more so on like a world stage type of level. Like I think we're going to be seeing some big things happen, just in terms of the macrocosm, but also, especially if your chart is being very activated, this is a season of wild rides and crazy twists and turns and changes and lightning hitting towers, but ultimately we're being put on track to fulfill a higher purpose or, go through some monumental soul growth over the course of this next several years. And at the end of the day, when we get through this period of time that we're moving into now, it'll make a lot more sense and we will see the purpose behind the things that we are going to begin experiencing. But as we are preparing to step on the platform and strap ourselves into the ride this week, you guys, we just need to know that there's really no way to necessarily thoroughly expect and anticipate the nature of the circumstances that may be unfolding coming up here. But we can, proceed with caution. We can nurture our sense of awareness of what the heck is going on with us, at least, or maybe just like in our own little bubble. And I do feel like, being as detached perhaps from the ongoings in the 3D matrix over the course of this month is probably going to do us lovely as well. So that's really what I have to say about the energy this week. Midweek, Venus, Neptune together, light breaking into many colors as it passes through a prism, seeing the multi-dimensional nature of things for better or for worse, tremendous creative impulse and manifestation potential simultaneously. This is the time to let go and to move on of that which you no longer wish to define yourself by moving forward. Moving into Thursday, there's going to be fated things happening that are supportive of exactly what I just got done saying. And, there could be something coming from within us as well that is like agitating us to do something different, to make a change, to move in a new direction, to prime ourselves even perhaps for some type of shift that is coming up. And we may be feeling the electricity building in the air as we move towards these big celestial events that are likely to make a big splash in terms of things that we're experiencing in the world at large and in our personal lives moving forward. So that's what I'm going to say about the astrology as we are heading through our week this week. Let's talk now about the tarot for a moment. There's a very straightforward message coming through, you guys, and we're dealing with a 4 of Cups and an 8 of Cups in reverse. Like, to me, this is really just giving vibes of that end of the Neptune-Venus conjunction where we just sort of like lose the desire for certain things anymore, where we are just kind of like over it, where things don't necessarily have the same level of appeal to us perhaps as they once did, maybe no longer feeling like some type of deep feelings in regards to things from the past that really used to be meaningful to us. Like, we're talking about the 4 of Cups right here. The 4 of Cups is disinterest. Like, it's I don't really care all that much. Like, I don't want what you have to offer. And South Node lunar eclipse in the sign of Libra, coupled with a Venus Neptune conjunction in Pisces, coupled with a Moon Pluto conjunction, like that could be the vibe. Like, I just don't want anymore what I used to want. Like, I'm not into it. Like, I'm not attracted to it anymore. I don't see it as valuable. This could literally be representing some type of collective, like, coming to the end, like shift in preference, shift in desire, that just leaves us in a place where we just genuinely are ready to move on from something. We are no longer inspired by it. We no longer wish to engage. We no longer care, you know, take it or leave it also. That's also the type of energy. It's just sort of like this disinterest as opposed to something maybe, you know, as opposed to like the Four of Pentacles, okay, where we are gripping on and holding on to something and we don't want to let it go. This is energy where, you know, and it's cups too. It's like, okay, it's this water energy. Like, all right, you know, I surrender. I wash it away. If it's not truly valuable to me at this point in time, like I'm ready to turn my back. I'm ready to walk away. Also like take it or leave it type of energy. Like I just don't really care as much as I used to. So there could be, in that, I feel like the combination of these two cards, like that's basically the sentiment that's being expressed there. You know, could walk away, could not walk away, could take it, but I'm not really interested in it. Again, just like the dissolving of the desire for something. So that may be a common way that this energy is manifesting this week, as again, it is representing to me Venus-Neptune conjunctions. You know, this is not like a hugely significant aspect. We have one once a year, and it's generally like not a whole lot to like write home about. You know what I mean? It really generally is just kind of like a lovely day, a lovely energy, fantasize, daydream, highly creative, compassion, high heart. But to me, it's just because of, you know, the other things that are happening right now in the context of where this is falling right after the South Node lunar eclipse in Libra, and, you know, also with the moon Pluto energy that we have going on right now. And then we've got, remember, the sign of Taurus. This is where the Uranus-Neptune or the Uranus Jupiter conjunction is, also ruled by Venus. Like, and I was talking about this in one of my videos the other day as well. The Venus energy right now, and people that hold a lot of strong Venusian energy, this is the energy that is really going through like the tremendous shakeups and endings and, you know, letting things go, turning a new page, becoming something totally new. We're talking about both Libra and Taurus, which are epicenters for a lot of the energy right now. And with Venus then coming, like in that context, okay, in the context of what we have happening in Taurus and what we have happening in Libra, when we then turn around, all right, then turn around and have a Venus-Neptune conjunction happening simultaneously with an exact Moon-Pluto conjunction, that is why I'm seeing it as more of the breakdown of this Venusian energy, because it's not just an isolated Venus-Neptune energy in which, you know, Venus happening in the sign of Pisces as well. Venus is exalted in Pisces. Like, this is very beautiful, high heart power Venus energy. But because of Libra and Taurus right now and what is going on there, I do think, and then the inundation with the Neptune Pisces energy, Pisces, Neptune obviously going together, Neptune being very, very strong in Pisces. It's just this flood that is washing away. Okay, I feel like a lot that has to do with anything that is still lingering in regards to our previous ways of defining self based on how we related to ourselves, the world around us, and how that translates into value, connection, relationship, everything that Libra stands for. Beauty, art, you know, image, everything that Libra stands for and represents. So, and these cards are also indicating just being over it, all right? Being over it. So that's that. That may apply to a couple of you out there. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what is a final piece of advice we can use midweek this week? What should we focus on? What can a good mantra be for us as we're closing out this week? It says, love equals respect. So as we're talking about the Venus influence this week, we have a message directly related to love itself, which of course is one of the manifestations, strong one, of the Venusian energy. Love equals respect. The children of this world are given in marriage, Luke 20:34. God is love, and when true love in the heart unites a man and a woman, it is God joining a couple. When difficulties and arguments occur, dissolve the problem in the light of God's love. Love, goodwill, and understanding are the keys to all human understanding. Respect one another. Refusing to treat one another with respect will cause more harm than any other act. So there is our rule book, okay, as we are moving into the Neptune-Venus energy and these relationship breakdowns or whatever could be going on Something maybe important to keep in mind this weekend is the wisdom described in the card, love equals respect, okay? So that's what we're going to say, you guys, about the energy as it's coming together as we move through our week this week. And again, prepare, and I'll be back on Friday to talk about it. We are going to be picking up speed and momentum as we move towards the solar eclipse on the 8th. And then, you know, turn around. We've got the conjunction between Jupiter and Uranus on the 16th. So lots coming at us, you guys. I will be here to talk about it. You should be here too. Thank you so much for being here for this video. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think they would also be interested in knowing what the heck is going on out there from an energetic perspective. Leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for your presence here. I really appreciate and value knowing what's going on with you out there. If you're having experiences that line up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. If you want to get a better view of these whiteboards, I post a picture of them in a Facebook group that I have linked in my description box below. And Janice Shellman also posts the synchronicity cards over there. She's the author of the synchronicity cards. So if you want a better look at those, that's where you will find them. Come back with me on Friday, you guys. I'll be here, and I already said my thing, but I will see you back here if you're here too. Have a beautiful rest, or have a beautiful week, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.